Let's get on the record in Ms. Boykin's case. It's 25 SC 005234. Ms. Boykin is here with, what's the name of the person in your lap?
Kiana.
Kiana is here with Kiana, and who is seated next to you? Oriana, and Ms. Wood, her lawyer. Ms. Smith is here for the state, and Ms. Boykin, Ms. Wood told me you're ready to enter a plea in your case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Smith will put you under oath in just a moment and then ask you a bunch of questions about your case. Please answer those as best you can, and also let me or Ms. Wood know if you've got any questions. Will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Smith?
Yes, Judge, before I start, would you like to know about the reductions in no process in this case?
I would, but let me get the case up on my screen first, please. Yes, I'm guessing there are some. Okay.
Judge, count 1 and count 2 will be no process in this case. Count 3 will be amended to theft by receiving stolen property. That's OCGA 1687.
And is that a felony level theft by receiving?
It is, yes.
Okay. So dismiss, and then amend theft by receiving.
Yes.
Got it.
Ms. Boykin, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in the matter currently before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can lower your hand. Please state your true, correct, and legal name for the court.
Kiara Boykin.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No.
And is there any medication that you would normally take that you haven't been given today?
No.
How old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 28 and I completed the 10th grade, but I'm in trucking school.
You're in what?
Trucking school.
You are now in trucking school?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney about all of the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in this indictment?
Yes.
Do you need more time to discuss your case with your attorney?
No.
And are you satisfied with her services?
Yes.
Counsel, are you satisfied that your client has a full understanding of this proceeding?
I am.
Also, do you waive the formal reading of the indictment and any and all defects in the indictment for the purpose of this plea?
So wait.
Ms. Boykin, do you remember being arrested on these charges?
Yes.
The state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Are you or your attorney aware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges?
No.
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend to the court a sentence of 5 years probation?
Yes.
Do you also understand that the court does not have to accept that recommendation and that the court can sentence you to the maximum on this charge?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit or any special conditions of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of the sentence?
Yes.
Do you understand that this is a guilty plea, which is permanently recorded on your criminal history?
Yes.
Do you also understand that if you're charged with a crime in the future, this plea can be used to enhance that sentencing, including on a federal case?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state's understanding that although Ms. Boykin is currently on probation, this case will not be a violation because it happened before she pled to the case she's on probation for.
That's right. I've just been looking at the jail records and there's a 10-year probated case from Judge Leffridge, 25 SC 000186. But that incident happened later.
Yes.
She's in jail for a long time for that and is now on probation.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Boykin, do you understand? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Do you understand that there may be other adverse or unfavorable consequences as a result of this guilty plea conviction, just as there would be following a conviction from a trial? For example, your guilty plea may affect your right to vote, the right to hold public office, the right to serve on a jury, the right to obtain a passport, or the ability to obtain employment.
Yes.
Do you also understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, you cannot use, receive, possess, transport, or own a firearm, and that if you did, you could be charged with another felony offense?
Yes.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering this plea of guilty?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to see and hear the witnesses called to testify against you, the right to the assistance of counsel, either hired by you or court appointed if you cannot afford an attorney, the right to the presumption of innocence, which means that the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you're guilty of these charges, the right to testify on your own behalf or remain silent, the right to present other evidence of your own and call your own witnesses, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial.
Yes.
Counsel, are you satisfied that your client understands that these are the rights that they'll be waiving by entering this guilty plea?
I am.
Ms. Boykin, has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter into this guilty plea today?
No.
As to indictment number 25 SC 005234, how do you plead to the amended count of count 3, theft by receiving stolen property?
Guilty by best interest.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you do not have a right to appeal directly from your guilty plea? But if you believe that there is some error in your guilty plea, you can apply to the appropriate appellate court to request a discretionary appeal.
Yes.
Do you also understand that that has to be completed within 30 days from today?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only 4 years from today to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this plea?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Boykin. Your Honor, if this case were to proceed to trial, the state would show that on March 25th, 2024, Officer Cowins, that's Cowins, from the Atlanta Police Department responded to 1870 Myrtle Drive Southwest in regard to a robbery. When the officer got there, they spoke with Jose Juan Soto Aguilera, that was the victim in this case, who told the officer that he was robbed by a black male wearing a black shirt, blue jeans, and boots. The victim told the officers that the male exited from a blue Ford Explorer with a Georgia tag that came back to be registered by the defendant in this case. The victim stated that the guy who got out of the car walked over to him, presented a black gun, and started making movement and gestures with his handgun. The victim in this case does not speak English. However, he was able to, through a translator, tell the officers that based on the handgun and the gestures that this guy was making, he knew that what was suggested was a robbery. At that time, the person who got out of the car took the victim's power tools, his bag, and also the hand tools that he had. The person then got back into the car, the Explorer, and they drove away. At this time, the officers were at the scene and they saw the exact same car that came to take the victim's tools, in this case, come back into the apartment complex. At that time, the victim and also the witnesses at this location pointed the car out as the car being the one that came and had the person inside that robbed the victim in this case. Once the person or the people in the car saw the officers, they then exited the apartment complex. There were 3 people in the car. The driver was the defendant in this case, Ms. Kiera Boykin. The passenger was Mr. Jarvis. I'll get his last name in a minute. And the person in the back was unidentified. However, that was the person who was identified as the person who committed this robbery in this case. The officers then followed the car that came into the apartment complex and left. They found the car at another apartment complex that was directly across the street. When they went to that location, they found Ms. Boykin in the car with the passenger Jarvis. However, that third person was missing. The officers then detained them and asked them about the situation, where they both denied that a robbery occurred, that the person that they picked up, who was that person in the back seat, was the one that got out of the car and then got back in. So from the read of the case and also body cam, the officers were able to identify that the person in the back was named TikTok. They did not get a name, a real name, a birthday, anything like that. So they were not able to run any type of searches or find out where he stayed. However, that person TikTok was no longer at the scene. The officers then did a show up where they took Miss Boykin and the person who was in the passenger seat back to the incident location, where the victim in this case did identify them two as being two people that were in the car. However, they were not the two people that committed the robbery in this case. Upon further research in this case and following up with the victim and also the passenger in the car, it was told to the state that the person TikTok who was in the back was now deceased. However, since we do not have a name for him, a birthday, anything, we were not able to run that name, get a death certificate or anything like that. However, up until now, he still has not been identified by either Atlanta Police Department or the DA's office because we don't have any information from him. In this case, the state did null pros counts 1 and 2 because of some evidentiary issues that we had. We did initially talk with the victim in this case and his cousin because we needed a translator who kind of corroborated what the police report stated. However, after that, we've not been able to make contact with the victim. It's been very hard. We have a good number for him. We're just not able to talk to him. And being able to talk to him also means talking to his cousin who's able to translate for us. Also with the person who was identified as TikTok, who committed the robbery in this case, we're not able to identify him or find out where he stays. Regarding count 3 with that theft by receiving stolen property, it's the state's understanding that Ms. Boykin, to a certain extent, knew that TikTok got out of the car to approach the victim in this case and got back in with a bag. However, it's the state's contention that she did not know there was a robbery going on or that TikTok had a gun in this situation. But what she did do was after TikTok got back into the car, he asked her to go to the pawn shop and she went to the pawn shop and pawned those hand and power tools. So because of that, the state is moving forward on count 3, which is theft by receiving stolen property. However, with count 1 and count 2, based on the facts and circumstances of the case and the evidence or lack thereof that the state has, we'll be moving to null pros counts 1 and 2. Regarding the recommendation in this case, the state is asking for 5 years of probation for count 3, and also for the defendant to complete an anti-theft course, and also for the defendant to stay away from the incident location. And that's all from the state, Your Honor.
And what was the street? Merlin Drive?
Myrtle.
Yeah. All right. All right. So did Mr. Soto Aguilera's property ever get recovered because we knew which pawn shop it went to?
Yes, they found out what pawn shop, went back and got those items and returned them to the victim in this case.
Got it. So he was made whole. The pawn shop may have been out of some money if they gave money to TikTok. Okay. Interesting story. Thank you. Ms. Simpson, as I see it, Ms. Boykin is on probation, maybe in 2 cases. Yes, in the 186 case, but that final disposition indicated that it would run concurrently with a case ending in 027. Okay, and it looks like there's a bunch of probation left on that. What was the 027 case about?
They are both cases.
Oh.
They judge members saw both of them get in the same disposition date.
Okay.
I don't know in regards to the information in regards to of those cases.
That's okay. I just, so they were consolidated by Judge Lethbridge. Okay, thank you. Ms. Wood.
Thank you, Judge. So Ms. Boykin has been one of my most proactive clients. She has been plugged in from the get-go, and so I appreciate Ms. Smith working with us on this case. She was actually at the time, she was giving rides to people. They would give her cash, so like a cash Uber situation. When she was in that area that day, this person TikTok came up to the vehicle, already had the stolen goods. So she actually didn't participate in any type of robbery. It wasn't unusual from my speaking with her and the other person, Jarvis. This TikTok individual was like sort of like a handyman type of person. So it wasn't unusual that he like came and got in the car with like a bag of tools, right? And so then she did give him the ride to the pawn shop, all that good stuff. But she's been adamant the whole time. She never participated in a robbery. So again, we appreciate Ms. Smith. Judge, she has 3 children, ages 6, 3, and 9 months old. As you heard, she is participating in trucking school right now. She's just eager to move forward with her life. She's working with Mary Hall Freedom House as well as Motherhood Behind Bars. And it seems like she's doing well with both of those programs. And so we would just ask that you accept the state's recommendation in this case. I would ask for a behavioral incentive date if the court is inclined. I know she's got the other issues going on as well. But she did want me to ask for that as well, Judge.
Okay.
She's on first offender probation, so she actually will initiate.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Boykin, is Mary Hall Freedom House providing you housing?
Yes.
Okay, how long have you been there?
Well, I came there July 1st and I gave birth July 2nd, so I've been there for 9 months.
How long will they let you stay there?
It's permanent supportive housing.
That's great. So where is your 9-month-old right now?
Right here. You mean my 6-year-old?
Well, I thought you had a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 9-month-old.
He right here.
Oh, okay. So there are only 2 kids here. There's a kid missing.
Currently I have a custody case with one of the victims from the aggravated assault, which is my child father.
Is that Brian Powell?
No, they worded it wrong. It's Dominic Dozier. So I'm going through a custody case with his mother right now. And I did everything I was supposed to do. So I'm just waiting for the judge to give me my daughter back.
Got it. That's the family division. There's mention in this final disposition from Judge Leffridge that there's a family division. I guess that's the custody situation.
Yes, sir.
So who's Brian Powell?
It's the case from a different aggravated assault.
Okay, who's Brian Powell?
Someone that spit on me,
Okay, and Kateria Powell?
his girlfriend.
And then, I don't know how to pronounce the first name.
Yeah,
Dunlap, yeah.
they was all
That was one group.
of people. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the other case, the case ending in 027 that involves the father of your child.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And is your child with him or
No, she's with his mother.
with his mother? Okay, and you're working to get custody of, is this a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Okay. All right, so you got 3 kids. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you are supporting them right now. Are you doing some trucking or you're hoping to get your CDL?
I got my permit. I kind of shut down because of the things that was going on with this case. So I haven't really been going, but I go to the Zooms online, but I haven't been going in person.
Okay.
So I was trying to resume that because I got accepted into an apprenticeship program through the Georgia Department of Labor. So whenever I get my license, I can go on a paid apprenticeship,
What do you need to do to get your license?
go to school.
Oh, okay.
More often to do the physical pre-trip inspection.
Oh, do you mean once you get your CDL?
No.
Just your plain old driver's license?
No, I need to go to do the pre-trips inspections.
Uh-huh.
And then I have to do like some more training on the simulator, like backing and parallel parking.
Sure. Okay. And then that gets you said you need to get your license. You're talking about a commercial driver's license?
Yes,
Okay, that's the goal.
yes.
But to do that, you need to do all these in-person things where you're backing the truck up and all that.
Right, I have the permit though.
Okay. How's that gonna work with your kids? If you're driving to Ohio with a truckload of goods?
My child father can help me.
Okay, you have a support plan in place.
Yes.
Good, okay. I'm not being nosy. I'm just wanna make sure
I
you,
also want to file for my LLC so that I can start my own trucking company.
Great.
I really want to buy a box truck.
okay, and keep it local.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, it sounds like you've got a plan. You just need to, stay out of some of these mix-ups that have been holding you back. What do you think's gonna be different going forward?
Me knowing that I can't get more trouble. And I'm also in figure management through, she didn't mention, but I'm in police alternative divisions. That's who got me here. And
Bad,
that's kind of why I'm late, because they helped me get here and
Great.
got me to the wrong address.
okay,
But I'm doing my inner management through them. So I think it'd be different because I have housing and I have the support I need. And
great,
I have nobody around me really but my kids.
okay. Well, they're gonna keep you busy. Your oldest is in school somewhere?
Yeah, she's in school.
Good, Okay, and her father's mom is local? Like, are you able to see your oldest or?
Well, yes, I have visitation through defects. You know
Okay,
how they give you, weekend
Yep.
visits, but they haven't turned to overnight yet. So I'm trying to get them to be overnight so that she can get used to where I live at.
good. Okay, and is there room for all four of you?
Yes,
Good. All right, do you have any questions about what we've been doing here today in court?
I mean, I don't have any questions, but I would like to say that I'm completely innocent and that I would never do anything like that. My prior convictions are from, I'm not gonna say that armed robbery isn't violent, but that's more of like a violent death act. But my convictions are mostly violence from people that I had encounters with. I don't just walk up to people and rob people. That's not even in my nature.
Okay, and I didn't hear the state say you were the armed robber. You would have been, at worst for you, an accomplice. But it sounds like in the end, you were a driver of a guy who had some stolen merchandise. And because you drove him to the pawn shop, you kind of were an accessory to his crime. Had you ever heard of this TikTok guy?
Yes,
Is he dead?
yes.
How'd he die?
He died from, somebody shot him in the head from basically going in people's cars. That's what the WSBTV, that's what it said, and there's,
So you know his real name?
no.
No. How do you know that? Because WSTV wouldn't have said TikTok's dead.
A local area where he,
Did his stuff.
and that's where, when I'm homeless, I usually be in that area because I'm not from here and that's the only area I really know of.
Yeah.
So he's definitely dead.
Where did you grow up?
Carrollton.
Okay,
Well, Temple, I lived in Temple my whole life.
okay. All right. Do you still have family there?
Yes,
But you want to be here at Mary Hall Freedom House for now?
yeah, I'm adopted.
Okay. Well, Ms. Boykin, I'm impressed with the way you're trying to move forward. I hope that the trucking business works for you, whether it's you getting your CDL and working for someone else or you starting your own company and working for yourself. You've got some significant responsibilities with the kids. I hope you take those seriously as you're charting your course forward. And you are definitely, you need to be done getting in trouble. You've used up your first offender. There's this, but these are all older. This was from 24, so it's 2 years ago. And so I'm hopeful you are turning a corner, and I wish you the best with that. I find there's a factual basis for your plea to theft by receiving. You were arguably and probably legally a party to the crime of theft by receiving, not armed robbery, and the state's dismissed that charge. I also find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Knowing means you've understood the things that Ms. Smith was talking about. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
And voluntary means no one's forcing you to enter this plea. Do you agree with that?
yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Wood, can someone in my office sign the indictment for you?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Smith?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Boykin, well, I know that your daughter would love to sign the documents. Is it okay if we do that electronically for you?
Yes,
Because we can't do highlighters. Okay. All right. I will follow the joint recommendation and sentence you to 5 years to the one remaining count 3. That will be probated. You will need to stay away from Myrtle Drive and complete an anti-theft course. Probation can help you line that up. You'll just have you have a probation officer now?
yes,
Good.
Officer Nancy.
Great. Everything just gets bundled into one. You don't have multiple probation officers. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Ms. Smith, anything else on behalf of the state?
Nothing further, thank you.
Ms. Wood?
No, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Simpson, what does Ms. Boykin need to do to report, if you will, for this additional case?
So, Ms. Boykin, you need to contact Officer Yancey, within 48 hours, but I'm giving you a report date. April 22nd at 8 a.m.
Okay,
Okay.
Do you know where the probation office is?
yes,
Okay. So even though you're already on probation, they need to get this case plugged into the system, and that involves you showing up in person at the address just a few blocks from here at 8 on, was it April 22nd?
Yes.
Yeah, and Ms. Wood's writing that down for you. Don't miss that. Officer Yancey will expect you to be at that. Do you have any questions about any of the stuff we talked about?
No, sir.
Okay, good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right. Someone's gonna be sad to have to give up those pens.
He's gonna take them with him.
Ooh, bonus.
Okay. No, okay. No.
Oh, I'll need to get back to this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for lining these things up.
Yes, yes, oh, thank you.
Let's take it to yourself. We'll take it, let's go to yourself.
Thank you.
Good luck.